Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled People. In today's episode,
Double booked seats with an entitled couple on a 12-hour flight. Entitled freeloader refuses to pay rent, thinks ignoring it will make it go away. Fair go. Karen number plate in New Zealand draws complaint. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Double booked seats with an entitled couple on a 12-hour flight. This happened back when I was a kid, but there are stories here that reminded me of this. Cast of characters. Me, obviously me. B and S, bro and sis. PS, parents. FA, flight attendant. EW, entitled wife. EH, entitled husband. The situation. We were on a flight from Miami to Bolivia as a family of 5 with 3 kids under 12. We're getting on the flight, sat down, when EW and EH come up to my row. I'm sitting in the same row and B and S. EW, excuse us, you're in our seats. Me, B, and S have all been well versed in child travel by this time, so we pull out our individual boarding passes and show her. We're also assigned these seats. EH, no, you're wrong, let me see those. We don't give them over. My dad comes over to see why strangers are talking to his children. Excuse me, why are you talking to my kids? EH, they're in our seats, look. Dad, that's their assigned seat. They know how to read a boarding pass. By this time, we have attracted the attention of the flight attendant, who confirms that indeed, those seats had been double booked. EW and EH are irate, demanding their assigned seats. FA leaves to go, see what I can do for you. This whole time, EW is making a big show of trying to store her bag in front of ours in the overhead bins and complaining loudly. FA returns and says, "Thank you so much for your patience. It was double booked, but it looks like we have enough seats in first class available for your party. If you could please follow me?" EW and EH sigh, relieved that finally someone will see reason. EW gathers her bag, and as EH steps forward, FA holds up her hand. "No sir, not you. If you 3, looking at me, B and S, will please join us up in first class, we'll make sure you're taken care of." The lemon-sucking look on EW's face as we politely grabbed our bags and moved to the coziest laps of luxury our young selves had the fortune of lucking out on. I remember the meal making me have a headache, but the reclining seats, warm blankets, and sleep masks sure helped with all that suffering. ETA, thanks for all the awards. And for the few of you trying to call bullshit, just because you don't see it as believable doesn't mean it's not true. Other people live lives and have stories that are unbelievable and also completely factual. That flight attendant knew very well what she was doing. I am going to fly by the seat of my pants and agree with you. The flight attendant knew OP had the right attitude, and the EP were just plain selfish. She probably dreamed of this opportunity. That's pro-revenge by the flight attendant. They really don't like people who try to bully kids. This story gets reposted so much with small differences, it's essentially a cliché already. This true story is so old. I read it on Tumblr years ago. Nice fantasy you got there. I wish that had happened to you, but I'm pretty sure the entitled people would have been the ones to get first-class seats, mostly because y'all are 3 kids, and they try and keep you all together with your parents/guardians. Also, why'd the flight attendant get you 3 up front when it was just 2 double-booked seats? This is a reposted story with altered details they think will get them upvotes. Not surprised if it's a bot. This would be funny if I hadn't been reading variations of it for years now. Entitled freeloader refuses to pay rent, thinks ignoring it will make it go away.
My entitled brother Dio, 26 years old, has been freeloading at my parents' house for at least 3 years now. To be honest, I hate him. We're the cliché younger brother and evil older brother duo.
Tonight's event. We were eating dinner together like a family, then Dad reminds Dio again that he hasn't paid this month's rent, and if he doesn't he'll soon fall behind on payment. Dio resorts to favorite tactic: ignore him. When that doesn't work and Dad keeps telling him that he is only making things worse for himself by refusing to pay rent, Dio decides to try to sit at the table and forcibly take food and put it on his own plate. This tactic doesn't work either, as Mom took away the food, and Dad told him that they won't give him anything unless he pays rent. Dio then went back to square one and ignored them. Then when he noticed that I was drinking soda, he went out and, against Dad's words, took a soda for himself before going back to ignoring Dad. Skip forward about 10 minutes. Dio still refuses to even address Dad. Then Dad asks when Dio is supposed to meet with his friend, and when Dio says the time, Dad says that he is going to be late because Dad won't drive him to the station unless he pays rent. Then Dio snaps and says that it's Dad's fault for not wanting to drive Dio to the station and decides to kick nearby furniture in anger. After a few more moments of his quiet, stubborn rage, Dio finally decides to leave with Dad following him because Dio took the keys. I'm not sure if Dio was driven to the station or if he was forced to walk, probably driven because my dad is too nice. Side note: I didn't say anything because after over 1 million fights with Dio, we have learned that when Dio is angry, he gets triggered if I say even the slightest sassy thing at him, which can result in Dio throwing a violent tantrum with the possibility of him lashing out at me specifically. Dio has trained your parents and you to conform to his wishes. Don't make Dio upset is not a good strategy. If Dio gets violent because he doesn't get his way, call the police. He's holding your family hostage. Stop allowing him to do that. Tough love. Time to kick him out. With added cop goodness when Dio throws his next tantrum. IMHO, your brother is mentally ill and your parents both enable him. You are an innocent bystander. It will take professional counseling to fix any of this. Hang in there. Or he's just spoiled and entitled. Or a bit of both. I don't understand how people like that have friends. Fair go. Karen number plate in New Zealand draws complaint. To celebrate Christmas in 2006, Karen Wilson's husband bought her a very special personalized number plate. On the same day, her son-in-law proposed to her daughter, so the plate reminds her of a wonderful day every day. Many years and many kilometers later, Wilson has found out that not everyone gets such a happy glow looking at her number plate. Her name and her number plate are the same, Karen, and now an email from Waka Kotahi NZTA has told her that someone, somewhere has complained about it. Apparently the complaint to NZTA says, Karen is offensive. I can't believe this is allowed. That's what NZTA was passing on, along with a request that Wilson reply within 10 days to advise the intended message of the plate. This explanation would then go to the personalized plate review group for their consideration. That process could take 2 to 3 months and could result in Wilson forfeiting her Karen plate or having to add an explanatory message to the edge of the plate. The person complaining is a Karen and wants the plate for herself. A higher level Karen has appeared. If you think Karen is offensive, you might be a Karen. Also, if you write back and say, Karen is referencing the slang term for raging entitled woman, will they take it away? It's not a censored word. Case closed. I do genuinely feel bad for all the normal people named Karen whose name is now the butt of a joke. Must feel bad. And I bet there's a ton of people they talk to who immediately make a false first impression of her over /the plate. I have an Aunt Karen, and that is why I don't say on public SM, what a Karen. I think she would be hurt. So let me get this right. A Karen complains to woman named Karen about a number plate that say Karen? That is such a Karen thing to do. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.